When a maid saves a millionaire's son from a fatal accident, dark family secrets revealed. The rain poured down in sheets, drenching everything in sight as though the sky itself raged against the events unfolding below. The sleek, black sports car careened around the corner. Its tires screeched, defiantly trying to maintain control. Inside, Tyler Evans, the heir to a billion-dollar fortune, tightened his grip on the wheel, heart racing, pulse pounding like a war drum. His world was a whirlwind of privilege, yet in that instant, surrounded by darkening clouds and flickering shadows, his life hung by a fragile thread. But then, just as a blinding flash illuminated the horizon, a figure burst onto the road. A maid of all people sprinted toward the car, her eyes wide with terror. Maria, a soft-spoken woman with a mysterious past, barely looked in her mid-20s. No one paid much attention to her as she dusted the family's priceless antiques or arranged their extravagant soirees. Yet in the throes of chaos, she transformed into an unexpected hero. The juxtaposition of their world struck like lightning: riches versus desperation, carelessness versus sacrifice. Tyler barely had a moment to react. As Maria threw herself in front of the speeding vehicle, time seemed to slow. The terrified shouts of onlookers filled the air, merging with the ominous roars of thunder. His instincts screamed for him to hit the brakes, his heart ached with dread. Did he really have to choose? Was the maid's life worth risking his own? Before things spiraled into complete pandemonium, a sudden jolt of energy exploded in his chest. The car halted inches from Maria, who stood frozen, breathless yet unyielding. Silence wrapped around them like a suffocating blanket. All eyes shifted towards the spectacle unfolding before them. The crowd gasped, whispers trailing through the tension. What just happened? An elderly woman asked, voice trembling. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. But as Tyler slid out of the car, shock tightened his throat. Maria was shaking, face pale, yet her hazel eyes shone with determination. You could be died, he stammered, breathless. The air was thick with unsaid words, a storm brewing beneath the surface. What drove her to risk everything? Who was she, really? The rain had masked the road's danger, but now it soaked through their lives, erasing the boundaries that kept them apart. With a heavy heart, he could feel something unsettling lurking within him, an unshakable notion that this was only the beginning. It wasn't just about the crash, but the unforeseen secrets buried deep in their intertwined fates. What lay beyond this incident? Which shadows loomed just out of sight? Tyler stood frozen, the weight of Maria's choice crashing down on him like the relentless rain. He felt the adrenaline still rushing through his veins, racing parallel to his thoughts. How could a simple maid, someone relegated to the background of his opulent life, have the courage to risk everything? He could hardly comprehend it. Maria clutched her arms, visibly trembling. I had to, she gasped, her voice barely above a whisper, swallowed by the storm's fury. I saw you, I couldn't let you. Her words hung in the air, heavy with unknown implications. People began to gather closer, their expressions fluctuating between awe and confusion. Some muttered under their breath, voicing judgment masked as concern. That's the Evans boy, a middle-aged man declared, shaking his head in disbelief. Others exchanged incredulous glances, the chaos sparking speculation about what had just unfolded. But as the crowd grew and the storm raged, Tyler's focus shifted entirely to Maria. He didn't care what they thought. You saved my life, he said firmly, stepping closer, the pounding rain soaking the both of them. Why would you do something like that for me? Silence enveloped them again, punctuated only by distant thunder. Her gaze darted away, searching through the crowd as if trying to find certainty among swirling strangers. Because I believe life is worth more than money, she finally murmured, the weight of her words striking Tyler like a revelation. Suddenly, doubt gnawed at him. Her words unraveled a story wrapped in threads of class disparity, 1,000 whispers echoing in his mind. Who really was Maria? Tonight, the maid had become his savior, while he remained the reckless heir, a pawn in a life dictated by others. But could he trust her? Just then, dropping her gaze to the ground, Maria took a step back. I need to go. Panic flickered across her face as she turned to leave, but Tyler instinctively reached out, grabbing her wrist before she could escape into the chaos. Wait. His voice cracked, urgency rising like heat in the summer. You can't just walk away. You made a sacrifice. I want to understand. She paused, a flicker of something fear crossed her features. You don't know what you're asking, she breathed, locking eyes with him. There are things about me, about this family, that could ruin everything. Ruined everything. The words hung there, swirling ominously in the air. Tyler felt a chill creep down his spine. What kind of secrets did she hold? It was as if the storm outside had broken open a floodgate of revelations, calling to him, tempting him to dive deeper into a truth he might not be ready for. Before he could press further, the revving engine of a car pierced the tension, whipping their heads around. A sleek black SUV pulled up next to them, window tinted, and the driver's face obscured. Just then, everything shifted. Maria's expression transformed into one of horror. I can't do this now. She jerked her arm free and took a few hurried steps back. Maria! Tyler shouted, but the sound was drowned out by the growl of the storm and the rush of a new audience gathering. As she bolted away, shadowy figures emerged from the SUV, and Tyler's heart dropped. There was a familiarity to their presence that sent chills through him, the kind of powerful aura that spoke of wealth, power, and danger. I'll find you. Tyler yelled, determination coursing through him, but as Maria disappeared into the rain, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was now tangled in the very secrets that could cost him everything. His heart raced. What was he getting into? And would he ever see her again before the dark family secrets consumed them both? The night swallowed her up, and Tyler stood alone, confused and trembling in the torrential rain. The weight of Maria's last words pressed down on him like an anchor, dragging him into a deeper abyss of uncertainty. The crowd buzzed around him, curious eyes darting from him to the SUV. Who were those figures? The driver's face, cloaked in darkness, felt like a specter looming over his already tangled mind. As the vehicle idled ominously, Tyler's instincts screamed at him. The SUV's engine roared to life, a stark reminder of the reality creeping ever closer. Without thinking, Tyler moved toward it, driven by a mix of concern for Maria and the hunger for answers. He pushed through the gathering spectators, ignoring their whispers and sideways glances. His sole focus became the vehicle retreating into the storm. Stop! He shouted as he caught up to the SUV, fingers barely brushing the slick metal. But it sped away, melding into the sheets of rain, leaving him gasping at the rear lights that vanished beneath the darkness. Tyler! Someone called behind him, a sharp, familiar voice slicing through his disoriented thoughts. He turned to see Sarah, his childhood friend, and a member of the same affluent crowd he loathed. Her designer raincoat clung to her, and her expression was a mixture of worry and confusion. What happened? She was breathless, eyes wide as she assessed him. I saw you with the maid. What are you doing out here? No time to explain. He barked, urgency coursing through his veins. Did you see what just happened? Those people, they were looking for her. Slow down. This isn't like you, she replied, concern knitted into the fabric of her voice. But the intensity of his gaze must have communicated the danger. She swallowed hard, stepping closer. You mean Maria? Yes. I need to know who those people are. Tyler insisted, a sense of desperation creeping into his tone. She saved my life, Sarah. There's something important about her, something they want. Sarah glanced towards the fading taillights of the SUV, her expression unsettlingly serious. You don't understand, Ty, she warned, shaking her head. This isn't just about her. It's about your family too. If those people are involved, you have to run. You can't get caught up in this. Tyler's gut twisted. The storm wasn't just overhead but within him, chaos battling against his instincts. Run? After tonight? I'm not letting this go. There's too much at stake. He could almost see the storm cloud hanging over Sarah too, her voice becoming tight. You don't know what you're asking, she reiterated. Your family, they've been involved in dangerous things. It's why Maria did what she did. Tell me. He demanded, but her eyes flickered away, struggling to find the words. Suddenly, a flash of light illuminated the night. Tyler squinted into the shadows where the SUV had vanished. The flash pierced the darkness, a momentary glimpse of something or someone shuffling away from the place Maria had fled. Tyler, no! Sarah shouted as he instinctively sprinted towards the direction of the light, his heart hammering in his chest. Maria! He hollered, desperation fueling his steps. The rain pounded harder, but a sudden crack of thunder drowned out his cries, creating an almost surreal atmosphere. As he reached the edge of the wooded area behind the estate, Tyler's breath hitched. A figure stood silhouetted against the flickering darkness, vague but unmistakably familiar. Maria? He called hesitantly, hoping beyond hope that she hadn't disappeared again, but before he could take another step, the figure turned. In that instant, Tyler's pulse quickened, and from the shadows came an unmistakable sound, the eerie whir of a low engine, a second vehicle rolling closer, shrouded in smoke and danger. Get back! He yelled at the figure. It was too close, too dangerous. But as he rushed forward, the chilling realization set in. Maria wasn't alone in this fight, and in a split second, everything could change again. Tyler's heart raced as the looming figure stepped into the light, revealing a face he didn't want to see. It was Maria, her expression twisted with fear. The sound of the approaching vehicle grew louder, an ominous reminder that they weren't alone in this shadowed world. Tyler, you shouldn't be here. Maria shouted, panic weaving into her urgency. The hair on the back of his neck stood up as he glimpsed movement in the trees, a hulking shape emerging from the gloom. The other vehicle's headlights cut through the rain, illuminating the darkened clearing. What is going on? Are they coming for you? Tyler's voice cracked, desperation slipping through as he fought to just make sense of the chaos. Maria shook her head, stepping back as if trying to create distance between them. You need to leave. You don't know what they're capable of. The engine purred ominously as the vehicle rolled closer, revealing a blackened shape, a monstrous SUV, just like the one that had taken Maria away. Its windows were tinted, concealing the identities of whoever was inside. Tyler felt the grip of fear clenching at his throat, forcing him to stand rooted. Get in my car! He yelled, motioning back toward the estate, intent on getting them both to safety. No! They'll find us there. Maria protested vehemently, her eyes darting around as if expecting the shadows to come to life. You still don't understand. Another voice broke through the rain, a low growl, almost mocking. Oh, but he will, Maria. Once we have both of you, you'll find that the truth isn't as forgiving. Tyler whirled around to face the origin of the sound, the realization crashing into him like an icy wave. From the SUV stepped a tall figure, clad in a long coat, the face concealed beneath the brim of a wide hat. He looked like an agent of night itself, dark and malevolent. Who are you? Tyler demanded, his voice a thin facade of bravery. A shiver of dread trickled down his spine. The figure chuckled softly, a sound devoid of warmth. Just someone who has been looking for what belongs to us. A little friend of your family, Tyler. The rain poured heavier, soaking through their clothes, mixing the tension that hung in the air. Maria stepped instinctively closer to Tyler, her body trembling. What was it about her connection to this chaos that pulled at his instincts? You don't have to be scared, he whispered, trying to steady both their fears. I won't let anything happen to you. Your words won't protect you, the figure interjected, raising his hand and revealing a glint of metal, perhaps a gun. Tyler's breath hitched at the sight, sending a jolt of icy reality coursing through him. Tyler. Sarah's voice rang out, now closer, cutting through the surrounding gloom. She and a few others emerged from the shadows. The concern on her face contrasted sharply with the danger now filling the air. "Stay back," Tyler shouted, stepping protectively in front of Maria, instinctively sensing that the tides were turning, that this was just the beginning of something darker. "We all want the same thing," the figure countered, his tone shifting from sinister to casual, as if discussing mundane affairs instead of the weight of his explicit threat. "All I'm offering is the chance to see your family's secrets buried or not." Each word he spoke hung heavy, sparking a flicker of recognition in Tyler's mind. The words felt dangerous, tainted a betrayal that slithered through his thoughts. What secrets ran so deep beneath the surface, and how did Maria fit into this twisted tale? "What do you want?" Tyler said, struggling to sound firm against the rising tide of dread. The figure tilted his head, a disconcerting grin forming beneath the shadow of his hat. "Oh, Tyler. Everything comes with a price. You just have to decide if you're willing to pay." The hair on his arms stood on end. Maria reached for his hand, squeezing it tight, and he felt a surge of uncertainty mixed with determination wash over him. They were standing on the edge facing a night that promised to unravel everything he thought he knew. The SUV's engine revved, a low growl that hinted ominously at the darker intentions rumbling beneath it. As Tyler stood there, adrenaline coursing through his veins, one question blared louder than the storm: could he truly handle the truth? But before he could process it, the figure took one step back into the shadows, whispering something that chilled Tyler to the bone. "I can make you an offer you won't be able to refuse." And just like that, the night closed in around him, leaving him gasping for air, his fate spiraling into an uncertain future. The engine of the SUV spewed an ominous roar, a creature hungry for answers lurking in the dark. Tyler's grip tightened on Maria's hand, her pulse racing beneath his fingers. He could sense the urgency of the moment, every second felt like an echo of impending doom. Sarah and the others were still hovering back, uncertainty etched on their faces. "Tyler." Sarah's voice cut through the air, filled with fear. "What's happening?" He glanced over his shoulder, allowing himself a brief moment to gauge the situation. The figure remained in the shadows, his faint grin invisible beneath the brim of his hat. It was almost as if he thrived on their anxiety. "Stay put," Tyler called out, trying to project confidence even as his heart thundered in his chest. The figure's presence loomed heavily over the gathering, like a storm cloud promising chaos. Decisions, the figure murmured. "You can choose to walk away right now, leaving all of this behind. Or you can step into the light and embrace what lies ahead." "What do you know about my family?" Tyler shot back, the bitterness in his voice igniting a spark of anger. The weight pressing down on him became unbearable. "Everything about this felt wrong. More than you could ever imagine," came the chilling reply, a taunting whisper. He waved a finger playfully, as if they were part of a twisted game. "Maria. We have to go." Tyler pulled her closer, feeling the heat radiate from his skin. The rain was relentless now, beating down like a war drum, drowning out reason. "No." Maria raised her voice, her fear sparking a defiant fire. "You don't understand. If he knows the truth, anyone can, they could target you." A shudder traveled through Tyler. Could it be true? His mind raced, piecing together a tangled web of family history and dark secrets. "Ah, the lady speaks wisely," the figure interjected with a sly grin. "Secrets are beautiful things, but they can also be deadly. Your family is tangled in a web far more complex than you can see." "You're lying," Tyler shouted, the anger bleeding into despair. He didn't want to hear any more. He didn't want this revelation, the darkness that began creeping around the edges of his perception. "Am I?" The figure shot back, an unsettling calm washing over his demeanor. He reached into his coat, retrieving something that glinted like a sharp blade in the dim light. Maria gasped, pulling away instinctively. Tyler felt a flicker of rage ignite inside him. "What are you doing?" "Merely providing a choice," the figure said, now stepping towards them with deliberate slowness. "Your family is too fond of their secrets. It ends tonight." With a swift motion, he revealed an object that caught the light: a faded photograph, crumpled and worn. Tyler's heart sank as he caught a glimpse of a familiar face, one he had only seen in the shadows of memory. Who is that? Tyler's voice trembled, realization crashing over him like waves against the shore. Look closely, the figure hissed, leaning closer, his silhouette obstructing the flickering light from the SUV. This is where it all starts and ends. You want the truth? Then here it is. Tyler's breath quickened, his mind spinning. His instincts begged him to flee, but curiosity tied him to the spot. Would knowing the name he saw haunt him forever? Or could it lead him to the answers he desperately sought? And if I refuse? Tyler's words came out in a whisper, caught between fear and defiance. Then you'll forever remain a prisoner of your oblivion, the figure replied, his expression twisting into something sinister. And believe me, this night isn't finished yet. The photo dangled between them, and with every passing second, Tyler felt the ground shift beneath him, tilting toward a revelation that threatened to consume him whole. Tyler, Maria whispered, urgency threading through her voice. We need to move now. We're out of time. But the pull of the truth was stronger than fear. The storm was rising, and he was standing at its center. Would he grasp the knowledge that could shatter everything he ever held dear? Or would he let it slip away into the night? As the winds howled and the shadows deepened, Tyler felt that something was about to break like the dam holding back a flood of hidden truths. Would he dive into the darkness that awaited, or would secrets bind him forever? And just as the choice hung in the air, the distant roar of the SUV's engine morphed into an explosion of sound, a violent wake-up call as headlights flooded the clearing, revealing something terrifying beyond the veil of night. The headlights swept across the clearing, illuminating the figure for the first time. Tyler's pulse quickened as the light cast long, eerie shadows on the rain-soaked ground. The stranger stood there, framed by the glow, an unsettling silhouette against the tempestuous backdrop. An unsettling chill crawled up Tyler's spine. Tyler! Run! Sarah screamed, her voice cutting through the thunder like a desperate beacon. The figure turned towards the headlights, a smile stretching across his face that was anything but reassuring. Ah, reinforcements, he crooned, his eyes glimmering with a feral delight. But it won't change what's coming. This storm is just beginning. Who are you? Tyler managed to choke out, his voice barely above a whisper, a mixture of fear and the bitter tendrils of anger threatening to unravel him. The figure stepped deeper into the light, revealing a gaunt face with hollow cheeks, eyes that seemed to know every secret Tyler had buried. I'm the collector of truths. And tonight, the past will come to collect its debt. Maria tugged on Tyler's arm, her grip vice-like. We have to go, now. Fear crackled in her voice like the relentless lightning above, but Tyler was rooted, his gaze locked onto that photograph. Tell me who this is. He demanded, desperation lacing his words. Blood doesn't lie, the man said, tilting the photograph toward him ever so slightly. See for yourself, and then decide if you'll turn your back on your history. Tyler swallowed hard, fear pooling in the pit of his stomach. He stepped forward, forcing himself closer even as every instinct screamed at him to flee. His breath hitched as he peered at the familiar face etched in time, his mother, alive in a moment he could barely recall, surrounded by another family he didn't recognize. What is this? He breathed, feeling the air grow thin around him. Who were they? What connection did they share? Ah, the figure cooed, triumph dancing in his voice. You see it now. That's your genesis, Tyler. It's time to confront not just her legacy, but what your lineage has been hiding in the shadows. The others, now moving closer, exchanged glances laced with confusion and fear. They were a storm of nerves, just like Tyler. Would anyone step forward to truly understand what he had unearthed? Suddenly, tires screeched sharply behind them, and a second vehicle careened into the clearing, scattering mud and rainwater like errant bullets. Tyler turned instinctively. Get down! Sarah shouted, but it was too late. The figure stood defiant, laughing maniacally, unfazed by the chaos enveloping the clearing. In a flash, the SUV's passengers leaped out, their faces pale and wild. Tyler! We need to go. One of them yelled, panic lacing his tone. Not without the truth. Tyler shouted back, now grappling with the weight of his family's history. Enough. There's no time for this, he's dangerous. Maria pleaded, her eyes wide with dread. The figure began to edge backward, spinning the photo like a dagger between them. You want the answers? Then you will pay the price, he taunted, his grin morphing into something monstrous. Just then, a whip of wind caused the photograph to flutter out of his hand and into the depths of the night. Tyler lunged for it, but before he could grasp it, a thunderous flash split the sky, illuminating a figure emerging from the shadows, a woman, drenched and determined. Get away from him! She screamed, a defiant fire blazing in her eyes. The figure's demeanor shifted, eyes narrowing with a calculating gaze. Ah, but she comes too late. The cold grip of uncertainty choked Tyler. Who was this woman? And what would her sudden appearance reveal? As lightning cracked overhead, all eyes turned to her, faces taut with disbelief and wild possibilities. Would she be the one to unlock the truth? Or was she another part of the dark game that threatened to engulf them all? In that moment of charged tension, the night awaited their next move, a breath held tightly in the air. The rain poured harder, a relentless drum against the earth, masking the chaos that buzzed in their minds. The woman stood, her silhouette flickering like a candle against the storm, a beacon of uncertainty. Tyler's heart raced. He tried to read her expression, desperate to find something familiar. Something that said she was here for him. Who are you? He shouted over the crash of thunder. She stepped forward, her drenched hair plastered to her face. I'm here for you, Tyler. I'm your mother's sister. Your Aunt Clara, she declared, voice fierce but crumbling under the weight of that revelation. Tyler's breath caught. Aunt Clara? He had only heard whispers of a lost aunt, a forgotten ghost in family stories, but this was real. She looked wild, yet there was a determination in her stance that pulled him in. The figure chuckled, the sound sinister amid the downpour. Another player in this game? How adorable. His eyes gleamed with cruel amusement. Yet it changes nothing. She cannot shield you from the truth. Shut up. Tyler barked, anger mixing with disbelief. What do you mean, the truth? Clara took a step closer, urgency etched on her face. We need to leave here. Now. He'll twist the truth to destroy everything you hold dear. Tyler, listen. Maria interjected, her voice shaking dreadfully. You're caught in something dark. Let us get out of here before what? The figure interrupted, eyes flaring with rage. Before he learns the horrible truths about his bloodline? The secrets? What secrets? Tyler yelled, fists clenched tight. Fear gripped him, dragging him down like quicksand. The truth hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Clara stepped forward, determination in her eyes. Your past isn't just your mother's story. There's darkness there, it follows you. Tyler's mind spun. He felt vulnerability seep into every pore, making him feel exposed. The weight of their gazes felt like chains binding him to the ground. No. He shouted, shaking his head. I need to know. Trust me, Tyler, Clara said urgently, stepping closer. Some truths are better left buried. What you want to unearth could know. He shouted once more, his voice cracking. Give me the truth. I'll decide what's worth uncovering. The figure leaned in, his voice low and taunting. You think you're brave, but bravery may only serve to ignite the flames of that buried truth. You'll find nothing but ashes and darkness. He gestured grandly, theatrically, the shadows seeming to dance around him. When it happened, another flash of lightning, and along with it, a throbbing realization hit Tyler like a punch to the gut. He wasn't just fighting for his identity, he was fighting to save the remnants of his family. His gaze shifted back to Clara. If you're really my aunt, then you need to help me. We can face it together. A pained expression flashed across Clara's face, but before she could reply, an earth-shattering roar of thunder split the sky, and the ground shook beneath them. The figure's laughter echoed, a chilling chorus in the storm. You'll never escape the family's curse. He boomed, as if the entire universe obeyed his command. It felt as though the very air around them solidified, treacherous and poised to snap, and then, a deafening crash of branches collapsing echoed through the clearing. They turned just in time to see another shadow near the edge of the forest, a colossal silhouette, looming towards them, hungry and menacing. "Run!" Clara screamed, eyes wide with terror. Tyler's heart raced as clarity washed over him. This storm was only the beginning. Would they survive to uncover what lay ahead, or would the shadows claim them first? Together? He asked Clara, barely able to hear his own voice over the chaos enveloping them. Together. She echoed fiercely, even as their surroundings filled with howling wind and swirling darkness. As they sprinted into the night, answers spiraled in every direction, like the storm around them. What awaited them on this storm-ravaged journey? And would they confront the truths that had haunted them for generations? The storm raged, but in its eye, secrets stirred, waiting to be unleashed. The wind whipped wildly around them, tugging at their clothes as Tyler and Clara stumbled through the muddy terrain. Rain lashed at their faces, blurring the world into a haze of darkness and sound. Each thunderous boom echoed Tyler's racing heart, the threat of something sinister lurking just beyond the treeline. "Where do we go?" Tyler shouted, his voice barely cutting through the storm's roar. His mind was a whirlwind of questions. What was the truth? What secrets did Clara speak of? And who was that figure, the one who felt like a shadow in his mind? "Follow me." Clara beckoned, urgency propelling her forward. They darted deeper into the forest, branches snapping back like angry fingers as they brushed past. The ground squelched beneath their feet, a reminder of the storm's unforgiving grip. The darkness was alive around them, crackling with anticipation, as if the forest itself was waiting. Trees, towering and indifferent, loomed like sentinels, their twisted branches forming tangled arches overhead. Tyler could feel the tension suffocating him, a weight that he couldn't shake even as he focused on Clara. "Tyler," Clara panted, glancing back with wide eyes filled with fear. "It's not just the storm, it's him." "What do you mean?" Tyler gasped, catching his breath. "Who is he?" "Your father's brother," she stated, her voice a trembling whisper. "The secrets I thought they died with your mother. I thought we were free." Tyler's stomach twisted. "Free from what? What does he want with me?" As if in response, another crash of thunder sounded behind them, followed by the figure's cruel laughter that echoed through the trees, wrapping around them like a thick, clammy fog. "You can't outrun me, Tyler. You're a part of this family, and you always will be." The revelation smacked Tyler hard. His father's side of the family had always been a mystery, shrouded in whispers and half-told tales. Was this twisted figure really family? He didn't know whether to be terrified or intrigued. "Tyler." Clara's voice broke through his thoughts. "We need to get to the cabin. It's safe there." The cabin, the one his mother had talked about but never taken him to. A strange mix of longing and dread surged within him. What had been hidden there? As they raced toward the cabin, a flash of lightning illuminated the path ahead, casting a fleeting glow on the treacherous roots and stones. The silhouette of the cabin loomed ahead, dark and foreboding. Tyler's breath hitched when he thought of what awaited them inside. A safe space or a trap? The ground shook again, more violently now, sending both of them tumbling to the mud. Tyler's heart thundered louder than the storm as he glanced back. The figure was drawing closer, his form now a twisted mask of rage. "Get up," Clara urged, pulling him to his feet. "We can't stop now." Stumbling forward, Tyler felt a rush of both fear and determination. What if the truth is too much to bear? Then we face it together. Clara shouted back, pushing him toward the cabin door. "We have to end this tonight." But just as they reached the cabin, it loomed like a ghost, shrouded by the elements. The door creaked ominously, suggesting perhaps it had been waiting for their arrival. And in that moment, the storm reached a crescendo. Wind shrieked through the trees, and with it came a chilling silence, like the calm before the most dreadful storm. "Ready?" Clara asked, her voice steady but her eyes betraying nerves. Tyler swallowed hard as he nodded, gripping the doorknob of the cabin. But just before he turned it, the figure's voice echoed behind them, low and menacing. "You can't run from your blood." Tyler's heart pounded in his chest as he swung the door wide open, darkness sweeping out to greet them. They stepped inside, and the air was thick with secrets. What awaited them between those four walls? Would they uncover the truth, or would forbidden shadows consume them whole? The moment the door creaked open, a chill washed over Tyler. Shadows danced along the cabin walls as they stepped inside. The air was dense, almost suffocating, and a musty scent filled his nostrils. It felt like they had entered a different world, a place frozen in time, where secrets lingered like cobwebs in the corners. Clara grabbed his wrist, anchoring him to reality. "We need to light a fire. It'll help us see and keep us warm," she urged, her voice barely above a whisper. Tyler's senses were on high alert. He glanced around the dim interior. Old furniture was draped in dust, and faded family portraits stared back at them like sentinels of a forgotten past. "Where do we even start?" he muttered, his throat dry. "Over here." Clara pointed to a rusty lantern perched on a nearby table. "Help me find some matches or something to spark it." Heart pounding, Tyler rummaged through the drawers, his hands shaking. The sound of the storm outside raged on, but inside, the shadows felt alive. As they fumbled, the floorboards creaked, echoing their unease. He could hear the distant roar of thunder, but something else tugged at his senses, a whisper skittering just beyond his reach. If it was just the storm, why did it feel like the walls were breathing? "Found some," Clara chirped, holding up a single match triumphantly. She struck it against the side of the lantern, and a small flame flickered to life. Shadows grew longer, and Tyler felt a wave of warmth spread through the cabin, momentarily easing the tension. As the light spread, the room transformed. Old trinkets came into view, dusty books stored away, an aged map sprawled across the wall, and in the corner, a trunk heavy with secrets, its latch rusted shut. His heart thumped louder. What could be inside? "Tyler, look at this," Clara beckoned, her eyes brightening as she turned the lantern toward the map. "Maybe this can help us." Tyler moved closer, the map revealing a layout of the land surrounding the cabin. His finger traced the routes leading to different landmarks, one of which marked the chapel. "What's this?" he murmured, drawing closer. A knot of anxiety tightened in his chest. "That's where your father's family used to hold meetings. Think it could lead us to answers?" she offered, but Tyler's heart sank at the picture that formed in his mind: dark rituals, hidden agendas. Before he could respond, the sound of footsteps outside made both their blood run cold. The laughter echoed again through the night, a wicked sound that sent shivers racing down his spine. "You can't hide from me forever." It was him. The figure was closer now, the hunter closing in on his prey. "Quick! We can't stay here," Tyler hissed, grabbing the map. "We need to find the chapel. It could be our only chance to uncover what's really going on." Clara nodded but edged toward the trunk. "What about this? If it's your family's," she hesitated, glancing back toward the door. Shadows grew outside as she heard rustling. "Forget about it. We don't have time," Tyler urged, anxiety propelling him forward. Just as they reached the door, a loud bang rattled the cabin. The storm had torn free a branch that smashed against the roof. Tyler's heart raced. Was it just the storm, or was it something more sinister? He gripped the map tightly, weighing the choice of fleeing or facing whatever lurked outside. Now or never. Clara yelled over the storm, glancing back one last time toward the trunk. They bolted outside into the rain, the downpour drenching them instantly. Yet, something pulled Tyler's attention back for a heartbeat. A glint of silver caught his eye, something that had fallen from the trunk just before they escaped, something that might hold a key to his family's past. That he hesitated, torn between the safety of the shadows and the truth waiting to be uncovered. "Come on!" Clara screamed, urgency coating her words. "We have to go." And yet, the dark legacy of his family clawed at him, demanding he confront it. But in the depths of the storm, as thunder roared overhead, Tyler couldn't shake the feeling that the secrets buried here were about to erupt in a way he never expected. What lay behind that mysterious trunk? And could it possibly hold the key to both his escape and the truth? The storm raged ferociously as Tyler and Clara sprinted towards the chapel, their hearts pounding in tandem with the rain that drummed relentlessly on their backs. Each flash of lightning illuminated the path ahead, revealing the sinister shadows of trees that seemed to twist and coil with anticipation. The air was electric with an urgency that spurred them onward. "Tyler, we need to hurry," Clara shouted, glancing back over her shoulder. The laughter of the figure echoed ominously through the woods, a haunting reminder of the danger that pursued them. His menacing mirth intertwined with the storm, sending up a shiver down Tyler's spine. His grip tightened on the map, the rough edges biting into his palm as he fought to focus. "I want to let him catch us, Clara." "Not now." He could feel the adrenaline pumping through his veins, driving him forward, but anxiety knotted in the pit of his stomach. What truths awaited them at the chapel? What dark legacy had been hidden away, waiting for the opportune moment to strike? The chapel stood at the edge of a clearing, its silhouette outlined against the tumultuous sky. The old structure was battered but sturdy, worn down by time and secrets alike. As they reached the heavy wooden door, Tyler's hand trembled. This place felt alive, charged with the energy of countless revelations locked away in the past. "Are you ready?" Clara breathed, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and determination. "I have to be," Tyler replied, pushing the door open with a creak that sliced through the howling wind. They stepped inside, the air thick and stale, holding 1,000 whispered secrets that echoed through the shadows. The flickering light from the lantern provided just enough illumination to reveal a dusty altar at the front, surrounded by crumbling pews. As the wind howled outside, they walked cautiously inside. The dim light cast eerie shapes on the walls, hinting at the history that loomed like a specter around them. Tyler's heart raced as he took in the scene, a shroud of cobwebs draped across forgotten memories. This was a sacred space, but it felt tainted, like it held something dark just beneath the surface. "We need to find something, anything," Clara urged, her voice barely above a whisper. "There has to be a clue here." As they rummaged through old hymnals and dusty relics, overshadowed by their own apprehensions, they stumbled across a trapdoor behind the altar. Clara's eyes widened as she uncovered the creaking wood. "What's down there?" Heart pounding, Tyler knelt down, feeling a chill run through him. Only one way to find out. With a surprising amount of effort, they pulled it open, revealing a dark, narrow staircase spiraling downward. Tyler hesitated for a moment. "Is this really the best idea?" Clara grabbed his hand, determination sparking in her eyes. "We're already in this deep. Whatever's down there could explain everything." Moving cautiously, they descended into the darkness, the air growing cooler and heavier with each step. The darkness enveloped them as they reached the bottom of the stairs, the faintest glimmer of light flickering ahead. They stepped into a room filled with dusty crates and disheveled papers scattered across wooden tables. A musty scent filled the air, mixed with the weight of forgotten memories. Tyler's heart raced as he caught sight of a weathered trunk in the corner, its latch rusted but still holding secrets within. "Help me with this," he urged Clara, rushing to it. Their fingers gripped the rusted latch, and with a collective yank, the trunk creaked open, revealing its contents: old photos, documents, and a delicate silver locket that glinted ominously in the dim light. "Tyler, look!" Clara gasped, her fingers gingerly picking up a photograph depicting their family, a gathering much like the one his mother had mentioned, yet this one was filled with unfamiliar faces and an unsettling familiarity. Turning it over revealed notes scrawled in a shaky hand. The storm howled outside, shaking the very foundation of the chapel as Tyler read aloud the haunting message. "Secrets protect those they bind, and blood will always call back what is lost." He felt the weight of the words sink in, sending a chill racing through his veins. "Tyler." Clara's voice cracked, interrupting his thoughts. "We don't have time, he's coming. We need to go." Just as they turned to escape, the door burst open, the man emerging like a grim specter. His figure silhouetted against the storm, eyes glinting with malicious delight. "Did you really think you could uncover the truth and walk away?" His voice was thick with dark amusement. Tyler's heart raced as he stood protectively in front of Clara, adrenaline coursing through his veins. You stop us. He shouted, though uncertainty crinkled at the edges of his voice. Stop you? The man laughed, a hollow sound filled with menace. No, my dear nephew, I have come to help you embrace your inheritance. As the shadows began to close in around them, Tyler felt the tempest amplify. The wind howled like the tortured souls of his lineage. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, but he could no longer ignore the truth that called to him. Don't listen to him. Clara urged, fear shimmering in her voice. We can face this, Tyler. Together. Family means everything, Tyler, the figure countered, voice lilting with false sweetness. Embrace the darkness, and you will understand the power you hold. Suddenly, Tyler's courage surged. I want to run. I want the truth. This ends now. He felt the rising storm within him, a roaring wave of defiance against the torrent of manipulations swirling around them. With that declaration, the tension in the room snapped like a taut wire. The old fears shattered, flames of determination igniting in his chest. He wouldn't cower in fear. The darkness of his bloodline would not control him any longer. Thunder cracked above, but in that moment, something shifted inside Tyler. He would confront what lay ahead. The truth was his to face, and he would carve his destiny against the howling wind. Tyler glanced at Clara, resolute and fierce beside him. Together, they could confront whatever battle awaited them. The storm had thrown them into chaos, but he could feel their bond growing stronger, grounding him in the storm's eye. Let us finish this, Tyler said, taking a step forward, ready to face the dark family secrets that threatened to consume them whole. It was time to step into the light and embrace the truth that had waited far too long to be uncovered. After all, the storm wasn't just a chaotic tempest, it was a purification, a herald of the new path they were about to embark on together. Whatever lay ahead would test them, but Tyler felt ready. Ready to seize his destiny. With stormy skies above and an uncertain future ahead, there was no turning back. It was a new beginning, a monstrous yet exhilarating step into the unknown. And just like that, they surged forward, determined to reclaim their legacy and unearth the truth that had chained them for too long. Hey, don't miss this exciting conclusion to an incredible story. You need to subscribe now to catch all the latest exclusive content and stay in the loop with what's coming next. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, and help us reach more truth seekers just like you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this twisty ending. Your thoughts mean the world to us, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this epic conclusion. Let us build this community together.